Right on time. Let's get started here. Welcome, everyone. It is that time for Zoom Away Blue Friday. Couldn't be happier to have you here on this fine March Friday afternoon. Welcome to the 3 Steps to Kayaking program, where we gather for building confidence and competence on and off the water. We share knowledge of tools and gear to get you on the water. We gain skills together to build your confidence and competence as a sea kayaker. And we develop sea personship for more fun and safety and rewarding experiences on the water together. My name is Hans Trupp. I'm a longtime track pilot and sea kayaker and director of development at Track Kayaks. Welcome to the 3 Steps to Kayaking program. And today's subject we're very excited about, but it's really focused around how to strengthen your relationship through common activities like kayaking. And we've got some very special guests here today. I'd like to introduce Jeff and Kathy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So a little bit of background on these two. We're going to call them our track power couple for now. And some indication of what a power couple this is Jeff is a retired firefighter and paramedic. So he has a long history of serving his community and giving back and really showing up and performing in stressful situations. As is Kathy, who's a retired second grade teacher. And they both really love spending time outdoors. Both are accomplished as ACA L4 sea kayak instructors. They've got that context. They're also both professional ski instructors with the PSIA. Both are members of the National Ski Patrol, and they're both track pilots. And so they're a very, very robust and active and enthusiastic couple. Some of their accomplishments outside of that hit list of credentials is they also have this great context of being parents. And they have got 5 adult children, so a huge accomplishment that ties right in with their ability to serve others and teach. Also, you might not guess this, but they are of the demographic that they have 4 grandchildren and 1 more on the way. So we're going to keep the time of this one concise so that they can jump back into their highest priority, which is grandparenting. So a little bit of context is Jeff's been kayaking for over 42 years. And he attended a sea kayak symposium in the Midwest and really opened the door to him and enlightened him that there's a lot to learn to be an efficient paddler. It went way beyond just getting a boat and plopping in it. And then in that progression of skills and development of enthusiasm and excitement, Kathy entered into the program in the late 90s and was introduced to kayaking for the first time. And she'll tell you the story about how her boat was a tank. And it wasn't until she was able to kind of get the right gear to really open up the world for her of kayaking. And so what they dove into together as a couple was they took on the challenge of becoming ACA instructors together. And in that process, they stumbled upon track, and we wound up with a great relationship. They've been great pilots ever since. They have joined us in places all around the world, the Philippines, Baja, and their next big expedition as track pilots is heading out to Scandinavia and sailing in the Arctic out of Norway on one of our trips with our partner Oceanwide. So thank you very much for being here, both of you. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
appreciate it.
quite the intro.
I will share with everyone that Jeff and Kathy were actually sort of invited relatively last minute to this.
Yeah.
And being the, hey, I'm sorry, say that again.
Nothing.
So being the educators they are, they just like jumped into this, and they took a educational approach to it. And was like, I got this. And next thing I know, they sent to me like an entire curriculum progression and a supporting visual aid. So I want to invite you guys to share that with us and tell your story. First, though, I really want to introduce this and speak about the why. We're so excited to have you on this and sharing this information. And that is that When we look at our customer base and who we're really starting to achieve fulfillment with our customers and our community, is we're seeing an increasing number of people who are purchasing boats in pairs. And we're uncovering that there's this, emerging trend of partners, husbands and wives, boyfriend and girlfriend, boyfriend and boyfriend, sons and daughters. But the point is that there's an increasing, awareness that folks are buying boats in pairs to do something together, to strengthen relationships. And we really wanted to bring that to light. You're a power couple with Track, and we know that you've got some secrets to help unlock how to do that, because buying the boat and setting the intention and making a commitment is just the first step. There's a whole bunch beyond that. And that's what we wanted you to share with us today is, what are some hacks? What are the inside tips and tricks that somebody can use to really strengthen their relationship through a shared experience? And I'm also proud to just acknowledge that Michael Stern's on the line. So if you need any additional relationship support, he's the guy who can help you with that. And maybe we'll unpack that one later. So Jeff and Kathy, I want to turn it over to you. Tell us your story a little bit.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it. And thanks for, we're happy to be part of the Track team. And as Track pilots, we've had some great experiences, and it's helped strengthen our relationship, I believe. And, this kayaking progression for us started way back. And we were out on Lake Superior, and we were camping, and we went out for a paddle, and it started to get a little lumpy, and
A little lumpy.
And then we get some 4-footers approaching 5-footers, and
I'm yahooing.
she's going Yahoo, and I'm thinking, like, I know for a fact that I could rescue her, but at the time I was pretty confident that she could not rescue me.
Mhm.
And that began kind of this journey to education and learning more and becoming instructors and getting some good instruction, because we both had a great time. But in the back of my head I was thinking that this maybe isn't the smartest place for us to be at that time. And everything turned out well. And down the path, it started the path of us paddling together and taking some of these amazing adventures we've been able to do.
Really great. Yeah, what a great start. So right away, paddling together, you recognize that there was a knowledge and skills gap you had to close.
Mhm.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we recognized that together. I more so, and I convinced her after I challenged her to pick me out of the water and throw me back in my boat. And she struggled, and now she can do it without thinking. But at the time, it was an issue. So
Mhm.
we
What
built
a great pickup line, by the way, Jeff.
Pick me up and throw me in.
Nope, can't do it. So anyway, we've got a couple slides we're going to run through, and we'll jump in there. If you've got some questions, you can put them in the chat box, Hans. Anytime you want to jump in, please do.
Awesome. Great.
And we will see if we can make this work. Awesome. So couples paddling and the benefits of paddling. And this is one of my favorite things. Money can't buy happiness, but it can buy you a kayak, and that's pretty much the same thing.
Well, wait, honey, how many kayaks do you have?
I have 5 kayaks.
Why 5?
Because you made me sell one.
Ah.
We practiced it.
Kathy, I have to inform you, the formula for how many kayaks one needs is N representing the number you currently have plus 1.
Plus 1. Yeah.
Okay.
So true. So true. So anyway, uh-oh. What do we got
Hang
here?
on.
We got
There
this.
we
There
go.
we go.
Okay.
So this is
Yeah.
just kind of like,
This
what
is
could go
What
wrong?
could go wrong? And this is where it all started.
Mhm.
Knowing that I didn't have the skills, and we needed to build our skills to, not have this happen.
Yep. And we realized that, we kind of do like each other. And that's what kind of builds the success we've had and enjoying these trips and things we'll talk about a little bit. And so what could go wrong? A lot of things could go wrong. So we took that next step and went forward.
So these are what we put together is what we feel that are the 4 basic things to build a strong relationship and how it relates to kayaking. So communication, of course, number 1, having a friendship, trusting each other, and a shared love of adventure.
Yep. And I just emphasize the communication part, from starting out to basics, where we want to go, what we need to do, the planning process, all the way through out on the water, that communication and building the skills and safety. And we'll touch on that in a little bit. We are good friends. We trust each other. And that's something that's built along the way of our skills and our trust of each other, knowing our limits and potential out on the water. And we do love adventure. Any great challenge or anything we will happily jump at it.
Let me ask you a couple of questions about that one. If you could go back there, I'm interested, Jeff. What is it that you do to actively build trust?
It's communication is the first thing. I mean, it's being honest with each other. It's knowing our limits. If somebody wants to do something, but the other person isn't in the mood or doesn't want to, it's that trust. And then when we commit to it, it's knowing that we jump in with both feet.
And for me, I feel trust is has to do with communication. If I'm fearful of something, or if I'm hangry or something, I need to just express it. Like, if I don't stop now and eat something that this is not good. So I trust that he's going to understand, like, oh, we need to stop here. She's needs to
Pick me up.
So
I love that, Kathy. I love how you identify that basically trust begins with self-responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes beyond just the skills of communication, but there's a big self-awareness piece that's very subjective to ensure you're more attuned to how you're actually showing up.
Correct.
Yep.
So great. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it comes down to paddling with my best friend, and we found that love of adventure, and some of the best journeys we've had have been on the water, and the track has afforded us that to go places that we probably would never have gone in our kayaks, and opened up that part of the world to us. So we're pretty excited.
What's better than a best friend?
Pepperoni pizza.
I hate
So it sounds like, can I extrapolate from that? Basically, because you're paddling with your best friend, Jeff, are you suggesting that it's really kind of opened you up and given you more of the courage to go places you may not have been as motivated or would go on your own?
I'm the adventure one. I'm the one that would like push us to do something, but he's the one that's like maybe takes safety a little bit. Like, let's think about this. I'm like, let's do it, and he steps us back a little bit, and that's where it's a good mix.
Yeah, I definitely take that step back and work with that planning, but it's a good blend of rushing and coming together and having that communication and discussion and having a great end result.
Sounds like a delicate balance. How do you attune that, if you will? How do you kind of acknowledge or recognize what's your forum or channel of communication to check in on that balance of a sense of adventure versus the necessary precaution?
I think for me, it starts with dialogue. I mean, I think we have this to-do list and bucket list and things we want to do and go places we want to go. And, that opens that up and how it fits into family and kids and grandkids and working all that piece in. And we keep that open, that communication line open all the time. And we're always talking about the next trip and the next adventure.
Oh, great. I love that you're sharing this at such a foundational level, because this is really transferable way beyond a primary relationship or romantic relationship. These are foundational pieces that really kayakers, as they form a pattern of working together, could also really adopt and bring some intention to ensure not only safety, but unleashing their potential.
For sure. So.
Awesome.
So trust, this is a great picture, but trust for me means knowing your skill level, understanding the person you're paddling with skill level, and being able to, this also goes back to communication, being able to communicate your feelings, like that you would trust somebody to accept, like, I don't really think I want to go paddling with those alligators, you know?
Yeah.
And I, on the other hand, said, trust me, this is going to be a great picture.
I had to paddle backwards for it. So anyway, I'm not sure that we had great judgment in this picture.
So just for clarification, that is the American alligator or a saltwater crocodile?
No, it's
No,
an
it's an
alligator.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it was the river was 25 feet across and he took 14 feet of it.
He's a big
Yeah.
one.
Wow, awesome. So I'm getting that. I really appreciate that in terms of building trust. It really comes at a number of levels, but one is you've got to be able to take the risk to disappoint and to be authentic and to share emotionally really what's going on. So trust is way beyond kind of the skill level piece, but we've got to trust also that there's vulnerability and that is met with a safe learning environment.
Absolutely.
Yep. And I think that's really the foundation of the whole thing for us, is the trust we have in each other, with each other, is extremely strong.
So great. Awesome. Cool.
All right, here we go. Planning to have fun. So, part of this whole, relationship is going on adventures. And then from, the packing and deciding like what do we need to bring? How are we going to pack it? And just the logistics of, getting from, the thought to the place.
Yeah, and that learning curve of how to pack it, how to get everything in, and how to get 17 kayaks on a van, and just little pieces of the puzzle that make it interesting. And the planning never ends. As we're planning for this awesome Norway adventure now, but we're already looking down the road and planning beyond that, and getting some dates locked in for other things. So planning is one of those things that is a continuous thing for us.
Well, which is
Awesome.
Communication.
I love what you're pointing to is that the kayaking is a full-time engagement, and there's the episodic piece where you go on trips, but then you fill that in, you fill in the gaps with the planning from one trip to the next. So it's like something you can engage in year round all the time to support incremental trips. So there's as much interest and engagement and relationship building that happens in between the trips that really supports the trips themselves. That's so great. Awesome.
Yep, for sure. And then this is what it's all about. It's actually having the fun. It's actually going out on these adventures and going places and doing things. And this one picture with my paddle in the air, I was having more fun before I ran aground there, but it was
I'm
certainly,
okay.
I was hoping there wasn't a camera taking a picture of me hung up on a reef there.
Yeah, well, the first rule of seamanship is don't hit anything.
Exactly. So, but having fun is kind of
That's the goal.
our middle name of getting out there and doing it. So.
And were those photos you just shared, were those from your Baja expedition?
The one on the left is Baja, the one on the right is Palawan.
Okay, in the Philippines, yeah. Really great. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, skills. So this is huge topic. And again, we have this picture because, this happens, the inevitable happens. You have to be prepared for the whatever. And so the importance of skills, being prepared for anything, develop your skills, practice your skills, have the right equipment, know how to use the equipment, know your partner's skill level. And for me, skills and practice go hand in hand.
Let me ask you this question about skills, is that, skills brings up the question about progression here. And you've identified that, Jeff, you came in with more kayak experience than Kathy. How did you address the progression when you were at different places together in your competencies?
Sometimes it wasn't so good.
It sometimes comes down to there's only so many things a husband can teach a wife, or vice versa. That there is a barrier sometimes that goes up when a significant other goes to teach one or the other. So we got involved with the ACA and some professional lessons with some professional instructors and some symposiums, and through shared learning and through their progression through the ACA, continue to both build. I definitely improved my skills, and hers quickly caught up, if not past my skills.
Really fantastic. So in the beginning, to kind of bring the gap together, you leaned on a couple of things. It sounds like one is you got oriented around the same structure, the same curriculum progression, if you will. And then to support that, you brought in outside help. You had outside instructors that independently could work with you and minimized any of the tension that might exist in the dynamic. Thus, your time together was more focused on the having fun part and less on managing tension.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So great.
We went out and sought good instruction to try and make us the best paddlers we could be together.
So now let me ask you this question. Now that your skills have come together, how do you now handle skills progression from similar places?
We continue to teach and instruct, so it keeps our skills fresh through an instructorship. We have recertification clinics as instructors that we go through to keep our skills sharp and to recertify. So we also paddle with a number of high-level paddlers and groups that keep our skills sharp and push us as we push them.
Oh, great. So once you're together in terms of like skills progression, it sounds like the trick is to really make a commitment to continuing to sharpen the saw and create layers of accountability that not only you can hold for each other, but that others can help hold you accountable as well.
Exactly. And we practice a lot together. You know, that's a huge benefit of having your good friend and spouse that's also an instructor or a very excellent paddler with you, is that we practice rescues and rolling and those skills on a very regular basis to keep our skills sharp.
So great. Awesome.
So this was an actual rescue on this trip in the Philippines. Wasn't super choppy, but it was those skills that all came to be, and we had a plan. We knew what to do if somebody went over. The swimmer is at the back of the boat hanging on, being instructed what to do while the water is being emptied out of the boat, doing a T-rescue, emptying it, bringing the swimmer alongside so they can come back up in the boat. The pod itself is holding its position around the group, watching, and everybody's mindful of where everybody is while the swimmer gets back in the boat. And it was very successful, very quick movement because there were skills we had all practiced.
Really great. Okay. So, yeah, you know, it sounds like you're also rewarded by seeing that energy and effort and resources you put into skills development actually pay off.
Exactly.
That sounds really great. So creating rewards with those is good. So actually pushing the limits a little bit so that you can use those skills, it sounds like is a big part of that reinforcement of skills progression. Now, Jay in the chat is also commenting that taking courses is fun too. And so taking courses, is that something you do together typically or independent?
Most of them we do together.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for us, it's been a together thing pretty much across the board.
The other opportunity that I've noticed that you two take, right, is you step out of the instructor role and you participate as participants and students sometimes on trips like the Palawan trip, or even stepping into the Baja trip or the Norway trip, right? There you aren't the designated instructor, but you get to sit back and be a participant. How does that help you in terms of like also balancing your relationship with skills progression and each other and adventure and fun?
It's kind of that 30,000 foot view, looking down and looking at the whole thing without being the one with the target on your back or doing the actual instruction. So you can see everything that's working well and maybe some of the things that could work a little bit better. And then, you know, quietly off to the side, maybe having a discussion at the end of the day, and, you know, having everybody learn or build from that.
Okay, really fantastic.
Yeah, like what would we have done, or what you know, just noticing a different technique or something, you know. I love being, looking back and watching somebody else. It's a good learning situation.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like you really mix, you blend, if you will, when you're on the sharp end as the guide or the educator with, being able to watch other people do it. And you really, as a learning tool, as educators, you both know this, the power of the debrief to really incrementally extract whatever lessons were there is a very important piece.
Definitely.
Yeah, great recommendation to mix that up and for people to go on trips where somebody else can be in charge so you can really be objective is really a great tip.
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell us about safety.
Safety. Oh my goodness. Safety is for me just key in kayaking. With safety, I mean, you have to be prepared for anything. You have to develop your skills, know your limits, have the right equipment again, know your limits, know your partner's limits, practice, carry the right gear.
We do onshore briefing before we go with paddle signals or hand signals so we can communicate with the group. We know in advance where we're going. We use this decision-making triangle that we stole from track. So the look up at the weather, look out at the sea state, look down at the route or the terrain at the map, and then look around at the people and what's their state, how are they feeling, what's going on. And we incorporate that so that weather, sea state, route, and it's either a go, it's a yellow, there's caution, something going on, or it's a full-on red or stop. And we utilize this every time we go out on the water now. So it's become a really important part of our paddling.
Yeah, really great. Jay's also supporting in the chat room is that these are things you should do on every trip, whether it's 1 hour or 1 month, it makes no difference. Seamanship is a discipline, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And you do it, excuse me, you do it the same every time you go out, not what your perceived sense of risk is.
Right.
So that it's there for you when you need it. So let me ask you this question, Kathy. We've already identified that you're a driving force in terms of the sense of adventure, and you're also identifying that safety is a top priority for you. How do you reconcile those two things?
With his help. I think that I'm less adventurous now that I have I'm more of a safety minded person. I think understanding the challenges of adventure or the danger of adventure is maybe I know it more because of the safety aspect of it.
Really great. Okay, great. So part of what supports you is knowing that you've got a backstop, if you will, to help with a kind of conservative voice, which allows you to actually lean into that adventure a little bit more than you might otherwise because of your commitment to safety. Right. That's really great. Understanding that is key. Jason, Linda was asking for a copy of that decision-making triangle. Can you find that and get a link in there for her? Thank you so much. Yeah. And if you want to bring that back up just for a quick sec, did you want to walk us through that in more detail, Jeff, how you use this tool as a couple? Because I think one of the things that I also want to extract as a learning is that you've identified that when you're paddling with other people, you always do that briefing and you cover some of the assumptions you're making about communication, because paddling is we all have different perceptions about and expectations, and gone on voiced, there will be differences. And as we, of course, paddle with people from different backgrounds or different cultural contexts from different parts of the world, then all those things are varied as to what this paddle signal means or that paddle signal, or what you're going to do when the wind blows up, or what we're defining as the a critical decision-making point relative to conditions. So tell us how you use this tool in that context.
Yeah, it starts out with the route where we think we're going to go, and then we're taking in some of the things like the weather. What's the forecast? What is it where we are? What's the water temperature? Bringing in the human factor. How are people dressed? Are we dressed accordingly for submersion? looking at the wind speed and the temperature of not only the air and the water. And then what's the forecast, and possibly along with any local knowledge of that area. And then
That's so great. So
water.
Cool. So it looks like what you're really doing is you're systematically identifying 3 objective components: weather, sea state, and the route and terrain considerations. And you're grading each one of those factors with a go, or a proceed with caution, or stop. And then once you're clear on that, you apply whatever subjective component is with regard to the human factor, and then apply the same go, proceed with caution, or stop. And it sounds like, am I right in that you just sort of add all those up and see what you come away with, and make a decision based on that systematic evaluation of objective and subjective measures?
That is correct. And when we're paddling together, this is a fairly quick thing, because we've discussed that coming to the launch point. We've done our homework. We've filed a float plan. We have the right equipment with us, and as long as we have the right mindset and everything else is a go, it's a good to go. But we use it for ourselves and when we're with groups.
Yeah, what a great tool to kind of bring in and just create a format so you can all connect around that and check in. I really like that. Great. So now we're safe. And we've got some tools to help do that. Tell us about the adventures that this really unlocks.
I will if it works. There we go.
Oh,
There we go.
Oh, okay. So here's some of the adventures. So adventures can happen close to home. This is Chicago skyline, or they can, happen worlds away, which I think this is Baja.
That's Baja.
That's definitely Baja. I know where that is. That is on the backside of Danzante.
Yeah.
Yep. So all the planning has happened, the discussions of planning, the safety's happened, and now we're out ready to do it. And it's that's the exciting part, is getting out and actually exploring, and then sharing the new adventures together and with others. I mean, it's our excitement that we can have boil over to other people and introduce this sport, this track kayak, the lifestyle, other things to other people and to other couples. The same love and success we've had is out there for any other individuals or couples that want to get into the sport. It's an amazing opportunity.
And it gives us something to talk about.
Yeah, great. It's good at cocktail parties, right?
Yeah.
So I love where you're going with that. So it sounds like really one of the kind of key things to help strengthen not only the relationship, but the activity part, is that looking for ways that you can keep it rolling, that you can make it, really accessible through local trips, and making those just as fun as and exciting as going to Palawan or going to Mexico or going to Norway. It also has to have a very accessible component for you. So it doesn't take a huge amount of resources or time commitment to do. You've got to make it available to you in the day-to-day. Am I getting that right?
Yes.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And it sounds like part of the thing that continues to inspire you is and excite you is your ability to share it with others, to build that excitement, to tell your stories, to inspire people to take trips on their own. It sounds like is also a big part of that reward that creates cravings, that establishes habits to keep doing this together.
Yep, absolutely.
So great. Awesome. All right. So here we are. You're traveling the world. You're sharing new adventures. You two have some big bucket list things, I know, and I've seen you, really start to click them off systematically as you've entered into retirement here. How do you integrate that into family?
Well, here we go. Family. You got the grandbaby on the kayak. Our families our kids are very outdoorsy. They might not be kayak outdoorsy, but we try to get them on the boats as much as we can, and they're supportive of us doing our own thing. And
their love of travel we actually have a daughter that's going to be in Norway next month. We're going to actually miss her by a week.
2 weeks or so.
Yeah. But kids love to travel, and so that's something I think they've partially got from us, and opening the world up and not holding back. So it's that life unleashed through the kayak, but it's all the way with or without kayak. It's life unleashed to go explore and make the best of it.
And I would say that the core of our relationship is our family. And I think that's true of everybody. I mean, we just have a very tight, loving family, and it's just a great thing.
So it sounds like in many ways what you're saying is that basically sharing your success on the water, both together in your community with your family, really contributes to your relationship. That sharing your success on the water, on a kayak, in this environment, with these skill sets, with the art of seamanship applied with that, has really contributed to that. I can imagine there's a lot of transference when you think about, structured communication required to be an effective leader or guide or educator, that kind of rolls right out into, how you maintain the house, or who cooks dinner, or breaking down some of those things that can later cause tension in the relationship that build over time.
Yep.
Correct.
And and over the years, because of the communication, the trust, some of the other things we talked about, I'm a really lucky guy. I mean, we go through most of these things flawlessly. We just react. We know where we're going, what we're doing. It's been communicated, and it flows, and it's easy, and it's fun, and it's just amazing. And our family, like Kathy said, is definitely the core of what we revolve around.
Rebecca's asking about the grandkids. She's wondering what ages are they?
They are 5, almost 3. We have 2.5, 7 months,
and 1 on the way.
And a half.
Cool. You might know the track pilot Jeff Berner. He built an outrigger for his kayak that added stability to it. I think specifically for both his photography work, but also as a parent, getting his kids out on the water.
Would that be fun?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Jeff had a motorcycle that had a
sidecar.
A sidecar.
Yep.
Awesome. Paul's asking, what is your opinion of paddling in 2 singles versus a tandem?
Well, we are both very independent. We will go from point A to point B, but we don't always take the same route. The one's up along the shore, one's out looking at wildlife, very independent. So I personally am happy we each have our own boats, and we do the same thing, but we do it our way, and the beginning and end is the same.
Yeah, I mean, we've done tandems before, and I don't know, it works for some people, but it just doesn't work for us.
Sure. Yeah. So a few folks in the chat have also pointed to how the formula for how many bikes that you need to, or how many boats you need to have in the world, also applies to bikes. And I think maybe the same rule applies also with whether to choose a tandem or singles would apply to bikes as boats. So there's a lot of crossover here I'm recognizing.
Yep,
So
sure.
Tell me about some of the highlights of beautiful places that you are currently, that you've been, or that you're currently, or that you plan to go.
Lots of beautiful places. I don't even remember.
What are your highlights?
Highlights for me are a kayak camping, for sure, hands down. That's what I like to do, because it takes a lot of planning, figuring out, packing the boat, what you need to bring, food. I mean, I just like that whole part of it. And I like to get, end up on a beach and put up a tent. I mean, even though, I hate sand in my sleeping bag, but I'll deal with it.
Yeah. Awesome.
We love the Great Lakes. We're right on the Great Lakes in our back door here in Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, and the Apostle Islands are some beautiful places, but the world destinations, certainly the Philippines and Baja are 2 of the tops. Norway is probably going to exceed that. And we haven't been to the best place yet. We're still planning and working on that. Don't know where it's going to be, but it's still coming.
Well, we're searching for it.
Let me ask you one question. I think Richard wants to know, are you going to be in Canoecopia this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Not that we are as individuals, but not with track.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is that the symposium, Jeff, that you were mentioning earlier in this conversation that really shed some light on inspiring you?
Kanuakopia is the largest paddle sports retail expo in the United States. They do seminars. They have equipment for sale at a discounted rate, and it's next weekend in Madison, Wisconsin.
And that's where we met Nolan.
Yeah, that's the first time we met Nolan was there. And but through them, Rutabaga, they run one of the symposiums, the Door County Sea Kayak Symposiums that we instruct at on an annual basis. So they're one of the outlets that we work through and for.
Awesome. Really great. I want to circle back to that tandem thing because our resident psychologist, who's an expert in the Four Horsemen, has also contributed to this conversation, suggesting that tandems are referred to as the divorce boats. And if there's anybody who knows about divorce, it's him. And so that's an interesting point of view. So there's a couple of strong opinions for you. I think that was Paul who asked that question. So I guess the to give you direction, Paul, is go try one first before you buy it with your partner.
Yeah.
Maybe
Have patience.
And we actually do quite well in one, but the independents, we're both strong-willed people. So yeah, we do better in singles.
Okay, awesome. What else would you like to share with us about your success hacks with having strengthening your relationship through sea kayaking?
Well, I think, we may paint like a very rosy picture with this PowerPoint, but I mean, obviously there's ups and downs, there's, conflict, but, but communication and just sharing your feelings and, just not harboring, any, bad feelings. You got to get it out there and deal with it. And then that's what brings a stronger bond.
And I think we spend time together all the time, being divorced now, but it's retired, retired is, I'm thinking of the divorce boat. I was going back to the divorce boat.
That's so funny.
If I could balance that comment on the divorce boat, is that tandems have really great application. I love them. One is they can really suck up a lot of gear so that everyone can be more comfortable. The other thing is they're super stable. And so if you're looking at big conditions or challenging routes, a tandem is fantastic. And also, if you have one paddler who's stronger than the other, then often a tandem is a good equalizer for accomplishing common goals. So I just want to balance the comment there. And I'll give you a personal context. I did a personal trip in a tandem around Kodiak Island in Alaska, and we could not have done that in singles because we needed there were some very committing moves that were, a 30-mile distance we had to cover nonstop because there was no stopping place. And we had to just really move with a Pacific swell. And we needed a high volume, stable craft for that. So, Paul and Jay are both made some comments that there is value on that. So I don't want to discount it. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So what I was trying to say is that now that we're retired, we're spending a lot of time together, but it's the quality time on these trips that are really the highlights. Opening your tent fly up and having the ocean, the Sea of Cortez, and your kayak parked right there is it doesn't get much better than that to wake up to.
It's so great. So that really brings you together in a profound way, sharing those highlights, sharing those bucket list moments, and just appreciating that together.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so great.
Oh, there we go. More quality time.
Beautiful places. And then the ability to meet and share time with other like-minded people, other couples, other individuals that have the spirit of adventure and the wanderlust like we have, and going out and sharing these activities is really what tops it off for us, is such an important thing.
Yep. It's building new friendships and understanding people from other places. It's great.
Yeah, it sounds like it's another layer of support. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
And then the social benefits, meeting new friends and people to kayak with in the future. We have all sorts of kayak friends we haven't met yet, and other friends that we look forward to getting out on the water with, and taking trips and classes and other adventures with. So there's huge social benefits to this.
Yes, you don't always have to be with your partner. You can share.
Awesome. Yeah. So there's a balance piece that's really about sharing your interests and also sharing your time within the same envelope or even the same expedition. It's important that you have a strong sense of individuality within that context.
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. Great tips.
And then the learning aspect never ends. We continually learn. We continue to push ourselves, keep our bodies and minds as sharp as we can. Learning navigation and kayak packing and route planning and all of the cool things that go along with the adventures and where we're going.
Really great. Sounds like it brings a really kind of a sense of longevity as well to your activity into your retirement.
We hope so. I mean, it's working well so far.
It's working well so far. I can see it. You're vibrant. You're both glowing and beautiful, and your energy is contagious.
Yep. And like we said before, sharing our knowledge, getting out with other people, and the ability to share our excitement or enthusiasm. We hope it's infectious a little bit, that some of our good fortune and fun and adventures can rub off on somebody else. And we're happy to share it with anybody. If anybody has questions or anything, we'd be happy to chat sometime in the future.
Jeff, you and Kathy have both been so good with that in terms of supporting track experiences with your participation and your generosity with support and knowledge and skills. It's been just an incredible role that you've played on our trips to make them really special. So I see you live this value, if you will, on every engagement you have with track. So thank you so much for that. It's really powerful to see that in action.
It's our pleasure. So, and there's my track shadow shot.
You see it, TRAK?
We see it. It's loud and clear, and that looks like it's from a beach in Baja as well.
Yep,
Yes.
It is indeed.
Yes.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
And for us, other people say the sky is the limit. For us, the sea is the limit, and we're ready and willing and able for the next adventure.
The end.
Okay, really great. So I want to thank you both for sharing your the inside or behind the scenes, if you will, of your relationship, and how you've been able to strengthen your relationship through kayaking and through skills development and a common activity that has allowed you to really thrive in a world of competing interests. And so really fantastic. So what I'm really taking away from this in closure is that you've been able to thrive with this common interest with a couple of key things. First is an approach to a very intentional design of it. And secondly is to really bring into this a progression that works for each of you both to effectively close the gap between your skills with structure and support, and then to help move that forward once your skills are together with an increase of sharpening the saw, a commitment to constant never-ending improvement, and creating layers of accountability around that. And then that's also really accentuated by bringing in the right levels of support. It sounds like there's a social aspect of support, there's a professional kind of mentor level of support that's outside of the relationship. And then there's the support of your family and friends and like-minded people that really drops to the bottom line as a way that you can really have a shared interest in balance with your individualism.
Yeah.
And that it sounds like that mix for you is really represented as a life unleashed.
There you go.
It is a life unleashed.
Awesome. So great. Well, thank you so much. We've got just a couple of minutes left here, so I want to open this up to questions. If anyone wants to either ask a question in the chat, or at this point, I think folks can unmute themselves and and feel free to tap in to extract more secrets from Jeff and Kathy. And we're getting a lot of comments here in the chat. Just thanks to you all. Great call. Love the Zoom call. Michael really enjoyed the session.
Great. Thanks, Michael.
Michael Stern, of course, commented on it as the best practices for sound relationship probably are alive in his work too. And he reinforces that trust, commitment, friendship, resolving conflicts, and positive experiences with shared dreams.
There you go.
Really great synopsis. That's we've got that from our resident psychologist and master of relationship. You're doing something right.
Yeah, I want to say my work is mostly doing work with couples throughout the lifespan, and it just embodies what we try and get couples to do, those elements. I just wanted to offer too a little perspective, and that you have the adventure and the drive for success and the constant learning. It also works a little across the spectrum. So we're not the quite the comparably adventurous couple. When I met my wife 40 years ago, and I used to backpack, and she said, "Oh yes, I've been camping." She neglected to tell me the footnote, which was that she never intended to do it again. So 4 years ago, in our entry into track, we kayaked, I had a sailboat. She hated that. We got our individual boats, loved it. And we wanted to go camping. So we bought a small RV, a small motorhome, and the track fits in that great. So we're able to do, glamping, but do that at good sites to be able to paddle. And this summer we're off to Newfoundland for
awesome.
for 5 weeks. And I posted on one of the Newfoundland kayaking site and said, where are good places to camp and paddle? And, within 2 days, I had 30 responses on that. So
excellent.
Outstanding.
Track is such a perfect piece of equipment for camping and for RVing. It's perfect.
What would you recommend to someone who says, my husband says, why do you want to sweat for fun?
Well, it's exercise, it's fresh air, it encompasses all those things of a healthy lifestyle. So it's in being in nature. And I've gone places in my kayak that I don't know that I could describe to people. Such amazing, awesome coves and places and coastlines,
mangroves in Florida.
It's indescribable. If you could bottle that essence or that feeling of the places you can glide across and glide to, it's just magical. So that's what I would mention.
You have to be present to win for that one. We can't bottle it. Awesome. Really great. Well, Jeff and Kathy, thank you so much. I know you've got to get to your grandchildren. This has been a pleasure. How do people get in touch with you if they want to lean on your generous offer to reach out for any more guidance or tips on this, or
drop us an email is the best way.
Yeah. Jason, share our emails is fine.
Yep. Put those out there. We're happy to respond. Any questions, anything we can do, be happy to chat.
Okay, well, we really appreciate you with your generosity of sharing that and your commitment to paying it forward as part of your plan of success. So thank you so much. Have a great trip on Norway. Hey, there he is.
I'm getting ready for Norway.
Getting ready for Norway. So you guys are leaving basically you're leaving in within 2 weeks to fly to Europe.
15th, yep.
And you're going to hop on a converted sailing schooner, and you're going to sail among the northern lights toward the Arctic, exploring the fjords of the Norwegian coast.
Yeah, sure.
You betcha.
So great. I have envy. I'm having FOMO already.
One spot left for Baja as well, and that's leaving. That's leaving soon.
That's an amazing trip. Amazing Baja trip. Don't miss that one.
And I missed the quesadillas that Eder would make.
Oh yeah, awesome. Well, Eder's going to be on this trip too. So I can see you guys are filling up your track passports trip by trip. This is going to be really great. Cole and Jason have got one of these in the mail coming to you to start stamping your way through your bucket list.
Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome.
Thanks, you guys. Thanks, everyone, for
Thanks,
joining.
Jeff.
Today.
Thanks,
Thank
Kathy.
you.
Take care, everyone.
Okay.
Loved it,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Soon. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, everyone, for joining this episode. Get out there. We'll see you on the water. If you have any questions, contact Track, and happy to have a chat.